All right, let's dive right into this explainer because today we're unpacking something truly mind-bending. We're looking at 5 specific areas where artificial intelligence hasn't just, caught up to us, it's officially crossed the human baseline as of 2026. If you follow this space, you know things are moving fast, but to really grasp our future, we absolutely have to visualize exactly where and how these massive shifts are happening.
To set the stage for what kind of tech we're dealing with, just look at this quote. Dario Amodei, the CEO of Anthropic, says modern, powerful AI isn't just some smart chatbot you ask for dinner recipes anymore. No, he describes it as a country of geniuses, millions of autonomous experts running 10 to 100 times faster than humanly possible, all living inside a single data center. We are talking about systems that autonomously execute tasks that would normally take a human days or even weeks to finish. So let's look at domains 1 and 2, autonomous coding and graduate level reasoning.
And look, we're not talking about AI spitting out basic boilerplate code or summarizing a PDF. We're talking about highly specialized, intensely complex logic that used to belong exclusively to senior engineers and PhDs. The sheer velocity of this improvement is staggering. According to the 2026 Stanford AI Index, the gap between top-tier AI models is basically vanishing. These frontier systems are now matching, or honestly flat out beating, human performance on incredibly difficult benchmarks. They aren't just differentiated by raw capability anymore. They're all just hitting the absolute ceiling of our human testing standards. Let me give you a crazy example. In our first category, autonomous software engineering, look at the AI success rate on the SWE Bench verified coding test. It skyrocketed from about 60% back in 2024 to nearly 100% in 2025. Think about that for a second. You can now hand an AI agent a gnarly, real-world software issue, and it will autonomously plan, write, and verify the perfect code to fix it, almost every single time. And that brings us perfectly to our second domain, graduate-level reasoning. AI is now reliably solving multi-step, PhD-level chemistry and physics problems that demand deep conceptual logic. On major benchmarks like GPQA Diamond and MMU, which specifically test advanced scientific reasoning, these systems are hitting scores that used to be reserved for our absolute brightest human minds. It's not just looking up facts anymore, guys. It is actively reasoning through them. Moving right along to domain 3, transforming science and data prediction. Here's why this matters. This graduate-level reasoning isn't just stuck inside a coding test. It's completely rewiring how we understand the physical planet and manage massive systems. Across cyber defense, biological research, advanced physics, this is no longer sci-fi. AI is actively replacing entire scientific workflows. It's transformed from a handy tool into the actual engine driving the scientific method itself. To put that into perspective, let's talk about weather forecasting. For decades, human-built, physics-based forecasting systems were stuck. Just recently, their average prediction error rate was sitting at a really frustrating 16.8%. Meteorologists threw the world's biggest supercomputers at this and just couldn't push past that barrier. But enter AI. By feeding complex, deep neural networks decades of atmospheric data, AI dropped that error rate down to just 6.9% by 2026. And the kicker? It runs thousands of times faster than traditional methods. The AI isn't doing the physics equations from scratch, it just intuitively learned the atmosphere's patterns way better than our traditional models ever could. And we're seeing this exact same predictive superpower completely transform the biological and life sciences, really building on the massive momentum of that 2024 Nobel Prize for AI protein prediction. AI agents are out there designing their own experiments and generating hypotheses faster than human scientists can. It's literally putting human discovery into hyperdrive. Next up, domains 4 and 5, the autonomous creator economy. So what happens when you point all that raw computational power at culture and entertainment? Just look at this breakdown. Let's say you want to create a highly engaging 45-second faceless TikTok video about AI and tech. Doing it manually, even if you piece it together with AI tools like ChatGPT or 11 Labs, takes a human about 25 to 30 minutes. You're writing, generating audio, hunting for visuals, and editing. But in 2026, platforms like Flowshorts and Vervid are fully automated pipelines. You give the AI a topic, and it instantly spits out the script, the dynamic voiceover, the visuals, and even auto-posts it. The whole shebang runs entirely on autopilot. Why is AI beating us here? Because it mathematically optimizes for engagement. The data tells us the TikTok algorithm decides the fate of a video in a mere 1.5 seconds. If your hook misses that tiny window, your video is dead. Well, AI knows this, and it flawlessly engineers text and audio hooks to mathematically ensure the viewer stops scrolling.
Let's look at the actual anatomy of one of these AI-generated viral hits. For that 45-second faceless video about 5 things AI does better than humans, it starts with a massive scroll-stopping hook right in the first 3 seconds. Then it layers a dynamic, high-energy voiceover on top of modern, futuristic AI visuals. Think glowing screens, robots, and code, all in that perfect 9:16 vertical format. Add upbeat background music, animated word-by-word captions since most people watch on mute, toss in pattern interrupts every 3 to 5 seconds to hold attention, and boom. It finishes with a precise call to action, follow for more AI content. The machines know exactly how to hack human retention. And for our 5th domain, let's talk music. We've totally moved past those early AI music generators that just spat out a flat one-shot audio file. We're now dealing with true music agents. These are active collaborators. If a track isn't hitting right, the agent can intuitively fix your prompt, isolate and edit specific instrument stems, strip out vocals, and mix the track seamlessly while nailing language-aware pronunciation across multiple languages.
But even with all this automated creation, there's a catch. Human taste is the final bottleneck. Sure, AI has basically infinite output speed, but we are still the curators. We have to be the ones who sift through it all and decide which AI outputs actually resonate with the human experience, which ones match a brand, and which ones tell a story we care about.
Which leads us to the philosophical cost of automation. With AI outperforming us in science, coding, and creativity, we really need to step back and look at the big picture here. Thinkers like Paula Cruz have recently highlighted a massive shift in our daily lives. Because AI is now an autonomous agent and not just a chatbot, there's a very real risk we'll start delegating our everyday choices to algorithms. It might start with asking AI what to wear or what to eat, but it easily extends to our relationships, our careers, and our creative passions. When a machine can do your job flawlessly, we have to grapple with the potential loss of traditional labor and the identity that comes right along with it. To frame this, Cruz brings up a pretty heavy quote from the famous writer C.S. Lewis. Lewis warned that what we call our immense technological power over nature often turns into a power exercised by some people over other people, using nature as the instrument. In our current situation, the concern is that a few massive tech corporations might gain unprecedented control over knowledge and productivity, essentially using this tech as an instrument of influence over society.
And this really hits the nail on the head for the core philosophical dilemma we're facing today. The essence of being human is deeply tied to our autonomy. It's about our ability to make choices, to make a mess of things and learn from our mistakes, and to find real meaning in our work and art. If a perfectly optimized AI handles all of that better, faster, and completely error-free, are we risking letting our humanity slip right through our fingers? Are we just outsourcing our very existence to machines? So I'll leave you with this final, incredibly important question. The tech is already here. It's undeniably blowing past human baseline in highly complex domains like science, logic, and creativity. But as we stare down the barrel of this new reality, we have to pause and ask ourselves, as a society, is this what we truly want? I'll let you chew on that. Thanks for joining me for this explainer, and keep questioning the data.